What's crack-a-lackin'? All right, my volume is working fine. All right. So let's talk about test anxiety, ladies and gentlemen. Test anxiety. All right. Because I got somebody that sent me a message. I've gotten quite a few of these messages and I've avoided them because I'm not a doctor. So I don't want to be going out giving so-called medical opinions when I've never been to medical school. So I've avoided this question, but we're going to talk about it. And before we talk about it, let me explain to you guys how this whole certification thing works, right? So say you got like 100 people, 100 random people that are interested in learning a certification. Now, this is based off of all of my years of teaching this stuff. Like I say, I taught this for 4.5 years in the military. Been doing this 2.5 years on the internet. So that's like 7 years total I've been doing this. And I've noticed a trend with people. So let's just say you have 100 people that are going to learn a certification, right? Out of those 100 people, you'll probably have about 45 people that'll say they're interested in the course, look at what's going to be taking place in the course, and then decide the course isn't for them. Like that's going to be about 45 people. You'll have another 45 people. They'll look at the course and they'll actually sign up, go through the material, but they'll constantly stop and start, stop and start, stop and start to the point where they never actually complete the course, or they get so far off track that they're going to eventually have to start over if they're serious about going through the course. So that's about 90% of the people that go through any type of IT course. I don't care if it's IT fundamentals or some advanced vendor neutral specific type of course, right? So that leaves about 10% left over. Out of that 10%, you'll have about 5% or 5 people. They'll go through the entire course like a champion, study, do everything they got to do. But then they'll freeze up when it's time to go take that test, meaning they'll never actually sign up to go pay for the test to take the exam, or they'll just find some excuse to prevent them from taking a test. And then you got that last 5% or 5 people. These last 5 people, they'll go through and do everything you tell them to do. Go through the course, study, do whatever they got to do, schedule their exam, go take their exam, and they'll pass. Some might fail the first time and they'll go back and do it again and pass the second or third time. But those 5%, those 5 people out of the 100, that's pretty much, they'll go through and do everything you say do, and they'll come out okay on the end. Like that's kind of how the numbers tend to break down based off of what I've seen over the years. So I want to focus on that first 5%. The first 5% who will go through the course, but they will never go take the exam. And so based off of my non-medical, never having been to med school before opinion, I believe that these people suffer from test anxiety, right? And so I'm gonna read this little email here that I got from somebody who appears to be suffering from test anxiety. Because like I said, I've had people ask me this before, but being that I'm not a doctor, I'm not giving out medical opinions. And if you hear a lawnmower going off, my neighbor is 7:30 right now cutting his grass for some reason. I have no idea why when it's about to start raining. All right, this dude says, this is from Ralph. Shout out to Ralph. He says, "Hey Tech G, I love your YouTube page, as you should." But he says, "Hey, I love your YouTube page. I wanted to ask a question." He says, "I took part 1 of the A+, took me 2 tries, but I passed. First time I had scored 650. I think I needed 670 or 680 to pass once. It says, once I passed, I was studying for part two, but I found a tech job. It's been 7 months since I've been working, and I wanted to get part two out of the way, but I became the 5% you talk about that did the class, but is scared to fail. And he's scared to pay for the test and miss what? Scared to pay for the test and miss the deadline for the A plus 1002 being expired. All right. So basically, he's scared to go take the software exam. He's already passed the hardware. He found a job. I guess he got distracted with work. I don't know. But he went through the software test, studied for it, and and is scared to take the test for whatever reason. All right. He says, I use your course to study and use some other materials. And he says he did a boot camp, which helped him cover what he missed on the first test. He says, I don't know, man. Clearly, I'm just lost again. He says he's at a help desk now, so he knows a lot of stuff just based off of his current experience. So he wants some advice on what to do. All right. So once again, your man's here, Ralph. Took the A plus hardware, failed it the first time, went back and passed it. And then he says he went through the software exam and he's terrified to go take the test. All right. So Josh falls into that 5% I was just talking about. So I'm going to rewind this one more time in case you're new in here and you missed what I was talking about. So I said you take 100 random people that are studying for an IT certification. This is how the numbers are probably going to break down as to who actually gets certified. You'll have about 45 of those 100 that'll look at the course material after expressing interest in taking the course. They'll look at the course material and they'll decide right then and there on the spot that IT is not for them. Never haven't even taken a class, right? You have another 45 or so. They'll look at the course material, sign up, start going through the course material, but they'll just keep stopping and starting to the point where they never actually go through the course. And then they drug this thing out so long, they're probably going to have to start all over from scratch. You have another 5%. They'll sign up, go through the entire course like a champion, but they're scared to take the test. And then you have that remaining 5%. They'll go through, sign up for the course, go through the course, do everything you tell them to do, go down there, take the test, and pass the test and become certified. So now I want to talk about that first 5% that go through the course, but they never take the test. And it's my personal belief they suffer from test anxiety. So I'm going to give you some solutions on how to deal with test anxiety, coming from some medical professionals, right? Not me, because I'm not a doctor, never went to medical school. I don't even know if I took a biology class. I can't even remember. So let me pull this up so y'all can get some expertise out in these streets, right? And this is coming from somebody with a PhD, right? So this is what they say. And I agree with a lot of this stuff because I've actually implemented a lot of this stuff in my own personal life, even though I didn't realize I was doing it. So here's some strategies on how to reduce your test anxiety. All right. The first thing you need to do is learn how to study efficiently. All right. So I just did my last live stream or my last video or whatever I uploaded 2 videos ago, where I was actually telling you guys how I personally study for IT certifications and how that's helped me and how I've taught other people to do that and how it's helped them. So you need to learn how to study efficiently. Now, this could be a little tricky because, well, let me get to, I'm going to combine 1 and 2 because number 2 says study early and in similar places. And so what I mean is I'm the type of person, when I study for something, I need absolute silence. I can't have any distractions around me, no kids, no random pets, no random whatever going off. I cannot focus on anything if there's noise going on around me, right? That's just how I personally get down. But I've known people that can study in complete chaos. And the best example of this I can give is when I was a freshman in college back in 1998, Tuskegee University. There was this dude from DC named Anthony. We used to call him Ant. Ant, he lived about 4 or 5 dorm rooms down from me. And Ant, he was known as he would always have the what we call the high-speed cigarettes. He would be in there getting blazed up all the time. And everybody would go to his room, because that's what we used to do back in the day. We all used to go to his room and participate in the festivities. Well, while we were participating in the festivities, Ant would be in there studying for calculus. He would have the music booming, playing his go-go music, because that's when I first got introduced to go-go music, was through him. He would have the go-go music playing. You'd have about 2, 3 dudes in there lighting up L's, passing them around. He in there in the rotation, just going around and around. But while he's doing this, he got his books open and he's studying, doing his calculus homework. And I remember sitting there thinking, like, how in the world is this dude studying when he got high-speed cigarettes floating around the room and go-go music just blasting? And I was like, there's no way in the world this dude's going to pass. Well, when it was time for the report cards to come out, Ant had straight A's in everything. And every time I've seen him study, he was always studying when he was getting high and playing music. So learning how to study efficiently, that's highly subjective. And I guess that's based on what your preferences are. Me, I have to do it in dead silence. But I know people that can study with complete chaos and confusion around them. And like I say, that ties into studying early and in similar places. Me, I like to study in the same spot. I don't like switching up the spot. I find comfort in things that don't really change too much when it comes to studying. But some people, they can just do it in complete chaos and confusion. Another thing that the Mayo Clinic says you need to do, they say you need to establish a consistent pre-test routine. So learn what works for you and follow the same steps each time you get ready to take a test. This will ease your stress level and help ensure that you are well prepared. So I talked about this in that last video, how to study for a CompTIA exam. I stated in that video how I study. I write notes, I highlight. Before I go to the next lesson, I review my highlights, and then I go to the next lesson, write notes, highlight. Before I go to the third lesson, I go back and review the first and second highlights, and then, just do that all the way through the lessons. That's my routine for helping me to study. And then I also try to dedicate at least 30 minutes to an hour a day if possible. So if you're one of these people suffering test anxiety, I suggest you find a way to implement that into your life as well. This one says, talk to your teacher. Make sure you understand what's going on, what's going to be on each test, and know how to prepare. In addition, let your teacher know that you feel anxious when you take tests. He or she may have suggestions to help you succeed. Well, I guess this is a form of talking to a teacher. I don't know. Or you can find somebody, a mentor around you, a trusted individual that can ease and comfort you. Then it says, learn relaxation techniques to help you stay calm and confident right before and during the test. Perform relaxation techniques such as deep breathing, relaxing your muscles one at a time, or closing your eyes and imagining a positive outcome. I actually do this. Now, like I said, I didn't know I was doing this when I was doing it, but this is what I actually do. So before I go take a major exam, I've been doing this probably since high school. I would always just breathe in, breathe out, try to relax my body. It was just, I don't know. It was just something, I don't even know who I learned it from. That was just something that I've always done. I did this in the military when I used to go take these PT tests where we have to do push-ups, sit-ups, run 2 miles or whatever the case may be. Before I had to go down there and start banging out my 2 minutes worth of push-ups or sit-ups or go for my 2-mile run, I would always do these breathing routines to help calm myself down and get me mentally psyched up to go out there and try to give the best performance I can do. All right. Another thing they say to do to deal with test anxiety is eat and drink. It says your brain needs fuel to function. Eat the day of the test and drink plenty of water. Avoid sugary drinks such as soda, which can cause your blood sugar to peak and then drop, or caffeinated beverages such as energy drinks and coffee, which can increase anxiety. Drink water. If I don't drink enough water, I start getting headaches, right? It just instantly comes on like, I need to go chug a bottle of water because I'm getting headaches. But drink water. We used to hear this all the time when I was in the military. Drink water, drink water. That's just something that's kind of been implemented into my life. even though currently I'm not drinking as much water as I should be, but whatever. But eat food, eat healthy foods. If you can, drink water. I remember this one time I was dating this girl in the army long before I met the wife, but I was dating this girl and she decided she had a PT test the next day and she was nervous about the PT test. So to calm her nerves, she decides to go to the store and buy a half a pint of ice cream and just start gobbling the ice cream down. And then when it came down to her to take the PT test the next day, she messed around and failed the test. Um, I guess her nerves kicked in. I guess the ice cream may started messing with her stomach because she was lactose intolerant. I don't know what the case was, but regardless, eat healthy, drink water. According to the Mayo Clinic, they say that will help ease your test anxiety. And if you're an average American out there, we all know that a lot of us aren't eating as healthy as we should, and we're probably out there chugging sugary drinks like it's going out of style. So if you know you got a test coming up, I would say load up on the water and the healthy foods. Next one, it says get exercise. Regular aerobic exercise and exercising one day on exam day can release tension. This is something we all should be doing. Believe it or not, Tech G used to work out a lot. I don't put some weight on since I got out the army, but we're changing that. But go out there and work out, man. Exercise has been proven to lower your stress levels. And I guess according to this, it can help deal with anxiety as well. So go exercise. I give you an example of this. Going back to the Army, I remember back in 2003, I was in airborne school down at Fort Benning, learning how to jump out of airplanes. 3 weeks of training to go jump out of a doggone airplane. I remember the day we had to go do our first jump. Put us in our little, strapped us in our parachutes, walked us into the back of that plane. And I think I was the last person to go out on the right side of the plane. And I'm not going to sit here and lie. I was terrified. I thought I was going to die, right? But as soon as I got to the door, I didn't even hesitate. I just jumped out. I was like, well, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. But thinking back on it now, I think when I got to that door and me not fearing jumping out of a plane that's flying 500 miles in the sky or whatever it is, 500 miles per hour, I want to say my fitness levels probably played a major factor in that in terms of reducing my overall stress levels and just saying, hey, I'm just going to accept whatever the outcome is. Because I had been, back in them days, I would run 2 miles, 14 minutes, 3 miles, 21 minutes. We was getting it in back in the day. But I think that probably played a lot in lowering my anxiety for that quote unquote test of jumping out of an airplane. Another one says, get plenty of sleep. So sleep is directly related to academic performance. Preteens and teenagers especially need to get regular solid sleep, but adults need a good night's sleep too for optimal work performance. They say you should get 8 hours a day, 7, 8 hours. I don't know. I think I average about maybe 5.5, 6 hours. On the weekends, I'll go ahead and sleep in longer, but you should get plenty of sleep, man. But my body, I've built up a tolerance over the years of going off for like 5-6 hours of sleep, courtesy of my time in the military. But for those of you who never served, we had to work those crazy hours. You might want to figure out how to get some good sleep in your life. Also, I would suggest you invest in a good bed. Like some people ask me, somebody asked me about my bed the other day. I don't even know how we got talking about this, but somebody asked me how much I paid for. So basically, I got an $8,000 bed upstairs in my master bedroom, right? And people are like, why would you pay that much money for a bed? Well, it's my firm belief that let's just say I sleep 8 hours a day, every single day. That means I will spend a third of my life lying in this bed sleeping. So I feel like I'm gonna pay top dollar as much as I can afford for the best, most comfortable bed. And this bed comes with all the bells and whistles. But guess what? Those bells and whistles, as soon as I get in that bed and close my eyes, probably within about 5-10 minutes, I'm out like a light. I'm like gone. I'm asleep. Compare that to my old mattress. I'd be tossing and turning, flipping and falling out the bed and all kind of crap. It just wasn't good for me. And I think that probably caused issues with why I got so accustomed to sleeping 4 or 5 hours a night, because I actually wasn't sleeping properly like I should. So, anyways, we kind of got sidetracked about the whole bed thing. But the point is, do whatever you got to do to get a good night's worth of sleep, especially when you know you got a major exam coming up. Right. Next one says, don't ignore a learning disability. So, test anxiety may improve by addressing an underlying condition that interferes with your ability to learn, focus, or concentrate. For example, ADHD or dyslexia. So, this is something you're probably going to have to go talk to a medical professional about if you got to get diagnosed or whatever the case may be. But for those, because somebody actually left me a comment asking specifically about this, and I found a reference link on the Pearson View testing site that will accommodate people who have special needs when it comes to taking these exams. Because what it is, when you go in there and take these exams, A plus, Network plus, Security plus, they're 90-minute exams, right? You go in there, you empty out your pockets, you go sit in this little cubicle looking thing. They got a camera in there, or if they don't have a camera, they have a person in there watching you take the test the entire time. Can't bring your phone, keys, nothing in there. You got 90 minutes to bang out this test and hopefully pass. Well, what if you got some type of learning disability where you, just like this thing says, you got ADHD, dyslexia, or something else that's going on out there that I'm not familiar with because I'm not a doctor. Well, on Pearson View, like I said, I'll post the link to this in the description of this video. But Pearson View, they actually do make accommodations for people who have special needs when it comes to learning, to where they may need extra time. Like they might need a full 2 hours to take the exam or something like that. But I think in order for those accommodations to be met, I believe on that website, they said you have to submit some type of medical documentation from a doctor stating that this is what's going on with you. And then last but not least, it says, see a professional counselor, go get some therapy in your life, right? Or talk to a psychologist or some type of mental health professional that can help you work through your feelings, thoughts, and behaviors that may cause anxiety. Now, believe it or not, your boy Tech G has gone to a therapist before, not for test anxiety, but because I was diagnosed with PTSD when I came back from Afghanistan back in 2011. So I spent about a good year and some change once every 2 weeks going through a therapist and letting my feels fly. And I probably got to go back again. But therapy is good. I guess it could help with anxiety, because I believe that there was matter of fact, my therapist said I was dealing with anxiety issues. And shout out to my man Retro. So when I was I went to therapy because it was like, yo, you got PTSD. I was like, really? I do? So I got to go in there and do the whole, lay on the couch, get my lollipop and all that stuff, right? But during the thing, I learned that this dude was telling me, you sound like you're suffering also from anxiety. And he was giving me some pointers and tips on how to deal with anxiety. And some of these tips came straight off this website, or some of the things that this doctor was telling me, right? So point is, therapy, if you need it, if you feel like it's that bad and it's hindering you from going to take these exams because you're nervous, because, let's just keep it a buck. It can be nerve wracking to take these tests, because these tests aren't cheap, especially when you're dealing with the comptia exams. These things can cost a few $100s depending upon what test you take. And that if you don't properly study or you don't show up to take that test, you're going to lose your money, right? Or, we all know this, or at least you should know this. If you don't know this by now, you know it now. You're going to find out right then and there, after you finish that test and hit submit, about 30 seconds later, you're going to find out if you passed that exam or failed that exam. That could be a little nerve-wracking for some people, to where they will get scared to take the test. So if it's that bad to the point where you're like having cold sweats and nightmares, you might want to go seek professional help, right? Because I can't do nothing for you, right? Because I'm just a dude that teaches IT. I'm not a medical doctor. But anyway, these are some of the things, according to the Mayo Clinic, written by this dude with a PhD named Craig Sawchuk, that says how you can deal with test anxiety if you fall into that category of people that will sign up for a certification course, go through, study, learn everything you can learn, but you freeze up and do not go take the exam. And like I said earlier, this is about 5% of people. Out of 100 people, you have about 45 that'll say they're interested, look at the material, and be like, nope, I don't want to learn IT. You'll have another 45, look at the material, sign up, go through it, and they'll just drag the process out. They'll never go take a test. to the point where they got to start all over again if they were serious about ever learning IT. Then you have about 5% of those people, or 5 of those 100 people. They'll go through, sign up, go through the entire course, but they'll freeze up and never take the test. And then you have the remaining 5. They'll go through, do everything you tell them to do, go take the test, pass with flying colors, and get certified. But those first 5 that freeze up and take the test, is my belief that a lot of y'all suffer from test anxiety. That's what I think it is. You're nervous to take the test, understandably so, because like I said earlier, you go take a A+ exam, you're looking at like $200 something. I think if you get it through me, your voucher, you'll only pay like $222. You get it straight off the comptia website, you'll pay like $239, right? But anyway, let's just say you got it through me. You sent me $222, right? And I give you your voucher. Well, that's $222 that you got to pay for to go take an exam. And like I say, you find out right then and there if you failed or passed on the spot. And no matter how much preparation you may go through, everybody's going to be nervous. But I think it's how you deal with the anxiety, which can help hopefully produce the positive result. And this website right here on the Mayo Clinic, like you say, you just do a Google search for this, you can find it. They list some things you can do. Learn how to study efficiently, study early and in similar places. Like this whole study early thing is important as well. Because I've noticed a lot of people, they'll try to study an exam in like 1 week. I don't really know too many people that can successfully do that. I mean, I'm not saying that it can't be done. Obviously, I've seen people do it, but the majority of people that I know that study for exams and pass them, let's just go with the A+ or the Network Plus, one of those tests, right? They normally study for that test for about at least 1 month, anywhere between 30 to 60 days. As a matter of fact, that's actually what I recommend people do, especially those of y'all who sign up for my study materials. I actually tell people, allocate 30 to 60 days to take this exam. I don't recommend people trying to knock all this stuff out in 1 to 2 weeks, just trying to cram information to your brain. I just don't know. I don't see too many people that are successful with doing that. But if you can, hey, what's up, y'all? If you can allocate 30 to 60 days, get yourself on a routine, in a schedule, learn how to properly study efficiently, come up with a routine, and find you a little happy place. You got little stars around you, little fluffy things. I don't know, whatever it is that you do, man. Go in there, get it in, and dedicate about a good 30 to 60 days. So you don't have to rush and cram and jam all this stuff into your brain to go past. Because my biggest thing, like I told you guys in the other video, is you should be learning these certifications, or you should be studying these certifications for comprehension first, meaning you're learning this stuff so you can actually understand what the heck it is you're learning, instead of you just trying to memorize a bunch of information just so you can pass a test. Like I say, I don't know too many people that can successfully memorize a bunch of information and go pass a test, but it's my firm belief, if you learn with the intention of trying to comprehend and understand this stuff, that will make the memorization part easier, because at least it works. It's been working for me for years, right? This thing talked about relaxation techniques, eating right, getting exercise, and getting plenty of sleep. We've heard this stuff for years. Obviously, a lot of us need to exercise more. I'm one of them. We need to eat healthier. I'm one of them. But I do know a little bit about relaxation techniques. I've been applying this for like literally years. And like I said, I didn't even realize I was doing it. I just thought this is just something that worked for me, not knowing that this was something that medical professionals recommended. So learn, deep breathing, go out there, get you some yoga, go for a little jog, do whatever it is you got to do, man. But these are some things. I'll post a link to this website in the description as well. But these are some things that you guys can do to overcome test anxiety, so you can get thoroughly prepared for these exams. Go out there and pass them. Be a part of the 5% that actually go through an entire course and successfully pass these exams. So you can go out there and get you a job and start making the big bucks in IT. All right. So that's all I really want to talk about. Hopefully somebody got something useful out of this information. If not, then I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, so shout out to my man Ralph. Hopefully I answered your question, Ralph. And hopefully, Ralph, you take this information and you go in there and successfully pass software. Because here's the thing, Ralph, I don't really know if you suffer test anxiety. I mean, you sound like you do, but then you stated you already went and passed the first A plus test. You said you failed it the first time and then went back and took it and then passed it. But now you're kind of freezing up on the software exam. So I mean, I don't know if you're like a full blown case of test anxiety because you've already demonstrated that you can go in there and pass one of these exams. So you might have a twinge of test anxiety in there, but you know, my method, my belief is, just like the Nike slogan, just go in there and do it. I mean, just go in there and do it. If you feel like if you, only if you've been actually thoroughly preparing and doing what you got to do to pass these tests, and if you feel like you have, well, you just got to go in there and take the test and see how you do. And if you fail, don't sweat that, because that's another thing. Because somebody sent me, who was it? Somebody sent me a message. I don't know. It was on Instagram or something. I don't know. And shout out to those of y'all who send me messages on Instagram and I don't reply to them till like 2 or 3 weeks later. I keep forgetting to check Instagram. I'm not really on there all that often. If you guys really want to reach out and contact me, my email is probably the best way to get me. techgclass@gmail.com. Instagram messages, I'll be honest, I forget to check them. And so I went through and I checked them last night and I was like, there was like 6 messages in there that were sent to me like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I went through and responded to all of them. And I think one of them mentioned something about what did they say? They said something about, it wasn't test anxiety. It was I can't even remember. What was it? Somebody mentioned something. I can't remember. I just can't remember what they said. It was something. What was that question? Oh yeah. Somebody said something about them failing a test, right? So here's the thing, right? Failing a test in IT is not uncommon. I have failed IT tests before. I failed the A plus test the very first time I took it because I didn't go in there and properly prepare and study. I failed it. I wasted like, what was the test back then when I took it? It wasn't over $200, but it was close. But anyways, long time ago, I failed it because I didn't go in there and properly prepare. So all I can say is if you failed the certification exam, welcome to the club. A lot of us have failed certification exams. Those of us that teach these courses, a lot of us have failed. But we just learn from our mistakes and went in there and tried again. And the majority of us came out victorious, to include myself. So, it's not a big deal to fail. It becomes a big deal if you keep failing over and over again, because then you got to really sit there and examine, like, all right, what's really going on? Is it just study habits? Do you have like special needs that need to be addressed by a medical professional, or, like what's really going on? But failing a test once and maybe twice is not uncommon. But you start getting into that 3, beyond 3 thing, then we got to really examine some things here, because now you're just wasting a lot of money at this point. But yeah, I failed certification exams, so it's not a big deal. You just go back in there, try again, man. Study a little harder, I try to identify your weaknesses and go in there and bang it out. That's what you're supposed to do. You dig? Let me see. What else? I think that was all I wanted to talk about. Test anxiety, failing tests. And I think that was it. Oh, yeah, and addressing these Instagram messages that I'd be forgetting to check. All right, so I think that's it, y'all. I think that's all I really want to talk about. Probably tomorrow I'll post a link to this week's quiz. I think we're doing Security Plus this week. That'll be this week's quiz, Sunday, 5:00, unless Mother Nature says otherwise, because we've been getting a lot of thunderstorms down here lately, or unless I got something else going on. But I'll let you know. But I'll post a link tomorrow. Tentatively, Sunday, 5:00 p.m. We'll go through, do the Security Plus review. I'll have in the comments of that link, I'll have the videos pinned that you need to go watch. And obviously, those videos will be available to all of y'all that are signed up for a TechG membership. So if you're not on the Tech G membership, I suggest you get on it so you can get access to all these wonderful slideshows that I've been putting together, the world's greatest slideshows, right? I think that's it. I think that's all I really want to talk about. I don't think I have anything else to say. Let me go through my mental Rolodex real quick. Nope, I think that's it. All right, any questions before I roll? Anybody? Shout out to Earl. Shout out to Feeling Lonely YX. Feeling Lonely X. I need you to get a new name there, buddy. Feeling Lonely X. You go. Shout out to Retro 5. So any questions before I roll? Appreciate everybody that's been subscribing to the channel. Appreciate everybody that's been sharing the videos, telling other people that to come holler at your boy Tech G if they want to get a certification. I appreciate all that. Some of y'all do send me messages letting me know. I appreciate all that. All right. Well, with that being said, I'm about to chuck deuces on y'all, and we will do this again whenever we do this again. So hit the like button, subscribe, share this video, join the membership, go to Tech G, get you some study materials in your life. I got the IT fundamentals up. I'm about to put this A+ up there. And with that, y'all be safe out in them streets. All right. Peace.